Welcome to the Solidity Insurance Group team call. My name is Marisa Maggio. Today is May 8th, 2025, and I'm really excited because we do have one of our very own on with us today. We have Kimberling, which I'm going to make sure I'm saying that right because I've never checked. And before I intro Bree, a couple of things that really stood out to me about Bree since she got started is she is plugged in, she's coachable, she has a positive attitude, and she has a crazy good work ethic. And those four things have definitely, showed and attributed to, some of the things that Bree's going to go over today. But I'm super excited and thankful to have you on with us today. Bree, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little nervous. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, hey, don't be nervous because all we're going to talk about today, Bree, is you and what you're doing. So you don't lie. I know you don't. You seem like you'd be a bad liar. You're like me. You would be a bad liar, but maybe not. I don't know. But just to intro the call, Bree, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what were you doing before insurance, what kind of got you into the industry, and, why Family First Life?
So I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. Born and raised. I've done a lot in my life outside of Omaha, Nebraska. So I joined the Army when I was 17 years old. I was stationed in Germany. I did a combat tour in Iraq and got out of there quickly. Out of the military, that is. And then I did some armed security. I just wasn't happy there, wanted more. I decided to go in healthcare. My mom got sick. She had ALS, and I my dad and I were her caretaker and caretakers, and that just she kind of pushed me. She was like, "You need to go into healthcare." So I became a CT tech, and I did that in Omaha for a while, and then I traveled around as a healthcare traveler. And then COVID kind of ruined that, like it did everything. So I came back here, worked a couple years in healthcare, and I just I was drained. And I knew I wanted some kind of work, not necessarily like compensation wise, but like that you could somewhat control like your not recognition, but I guess yeah, your compensation is more like equal to your work ethic. Unlike every CT tech gets this raise. And so I did some personal shopping when I left healthcare, and then I have a friend that's in life insurance, and I knew she loved her job. I tried to pick her brain, and she wasn't very forthcoming. Well, not forthcoming with information at all. So I just started doing my own research. I signed up for a class for life and health through Kaplan. It's an online institute. And then I just started doing my research, and Family First was my number one pick. I had supposedly a recruiting call one night, and luckily I missed that because the next day Melissa called me, and I was like, whoa, this is, I just didn't, I was like, this is real. Like, I can get licensed in a week, and like, let's go. Like, I'm in. So.
I love it. So, really, what I kind of hear you saying, first of all, you have a crazy background in the best way, because I think that people who experience different things can just, their thought process comes from different experiences, and that's a beautiful thing, right? So, first of all, thank you for your service, really and truly. Being 17 years old in the Army, I'm just kudos there. And then hearing how you were, mom's caretaker and traveling around and, always helping people though, right? If you think about it, it's like you were always helping people, which I think is a beautiful thing. And then kind of, coming in here, and I love how you said, I was looking for something and not necessarily from a commission standpoint, but like it was performance based. That's kind of what I heard you say, right? Like if I'm going to be working my butt off, like 10 times harder than Tina and Tom, like I want to be getting paid 10 times more than Tina and Tom, right? So I love
Yes.
that. And you're showing out. Now, when did you get started, just for some people on the call that maybe might not be too in queue on that?
I think my first week of dialing was around February 12th or 14th.
Okay, so we're almost 90 days in.
Yes.
All right, that's really fun. And guys, just to kind of brag on Bree real quick, and Bree, I want to do this because it's so important. It's like you guys got to know who you're listening to. So Bree started mid-February, we're gonna call it, and issued out 27,000 in March, if I'm not mistaken. Rami, correct me if I'm wrong. And I think like 22,000 in April, and we still have week 5 to come out. So it's like, guys, if you're listening, you're new right now. Like, I would be literally vigorously taking notes on what she did to see those types of results because not everybody's seeing results like that. Now, obviously, Brie, you're killing it. Like, truly, you're killing it. And it might not always feel that way. But as a new agent, why do you think you've been so successful during your first, 60, 90 days?
Sure. So I do have to give a lot of credit to Rami, my upline, and Marisa, Christina. You guys, you're always there if I have any questions. Definitely the unmuting helped me a lot. So when I was waiting to get contracted, I probably drove Rami crazy because I'm like, when can I dial? When can I dial? And I literally just had my earpiece in, cleaning the house, and I just started listening to people. And one thing I took away early on was like to unmute, like they preached that. And so I just, as soon as I started, I just naturally started unmuting, and I got corrected on the spot so much. And I mean, some of the things that even to this day that Rami will have me say, just they make me cringe. I'm not gonna lie. But it's I mean, to have like Hall of Fame producers like right at your fingertips to like help you live, it's just, I just take advantage of that, I guess. Unmuting, and then yeah, sticking to my schedule, being coachable, and just all the things that they tell you, I try to follow those.
I love that. And I want to just pause you real quick, Brie, because I love how you said, like, as a new agent, like you were excited. You're like, when can I dial? Right? Like, Ronnie, when can I dial? And you almost like think like every agent would be that way. Like, when can I dial? When can I start making money? Like, when can I do this thing for real? Which to me is like a really positive indicator of like this person wants it, right? You're like you said, you're around your house, you're cleaning up, you just have your earpiece in, listening to folks on dial team while you're waiting for your contracting to go through or you're doing training, but you were actively listening as soon as you could be. And on there, like you're saying, you heard everybody saying, unmute, we want to hear you. If you're new, unmute, we're going to help you. And in getting kind of that correction on the spot, Brie, I think a lot of people can kind of shy away from it because they're like, oh, I don't want to unmute because like if John tells me like he's busy right now and I don't do it right, then I'm gonna get yelled at. Brie, talk to us a little bit about getting feedback and constructive criticism versus actually being criticized. Like, do you think you've been criticized during your learning?
No, I don't think that I've been criticized. I mean, it's constructive feedback there. I feel like, and I've never been in, I've done a lot of different jobs, a lot of careers. I've never been on a team that is literally so supportive and seriously, they want everyone to win. And that, like, I don't take that lightly. Like, they're helping me learn to make money, and I'm like, Rami's hard on me, but it helps me learn. Like that's how I learn. And I kind of lost the question. Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
that's okay. I just said the correction on the spot, right? It's
Yes.
uncomfortable, but like just like you're saying, you're like it's going to help me get better, right? Like I know that maybe Rami's better than me right now. So like let me learn how to get to where he's at, right? And no one's ever giving you the criticism being like trying to make you feel bad about yourself. Would that be fair to say, Brie?
It's yeah, definitely fair. Definitely
Okay,
fair.
cool. Cool. And I love how you said, sticking to a schedule, right? So talk to us a little bit about your schedule. Like, what does that look like for you? And from what I can see, anyways, and like we're all on Zoom together, right, guys? So it's like if we're all being fair, like we know how much everybody does or doesn't work, okay? Like I love y'all. But Bree, talk to us a little bit about your schedule and kind of why sticking to it is important for you and like structured.
Sure. So I get up every morning, a little early, get my mind right, and then I log in a little couple minutes before 8 a.m. I dial from 8 to 1. And then I take a little lunch break. Office hours, I take care of my back office. If I need to call anyone that, maybe they're insufficient funds or a chargeback, if I need to take care of any of that stuff or any other admin stuff, I do that. And then I typically start dialing again around 3, and then I go till 7 p.m. Um, And that's just how I've learned. I honestly have a lot of good luck in the evenings, and so I just, unless I have something at utmost importance, not just, my friend wants to go to dinner or something, but, I try to stick to those hours. And then on Saturdays, I do like 9 to 2 or 3, depending on appointments and such. But I just try to keep to that schedule. I mean, of course, some things, may come up here and there, but for the most part, like my boyfriend knows not to bother me. My family knows, like, I may not answer my phone. So
Right. So
that's,
you set those expectations and kind of parameters for yourself, but also talk to like your loved ones about, hey, I can't just be grabbing the phone just because I'm self-employed. Doesn't mean I'm self-employed sitting at home. I'm self-employed at home, working my butt off to make sure that I have the proper income. And I
yes.
love how you just essentially made it like no big deal, right? Because when we work W-2, right, we all get a schedule. And that's what it says. This is what time you have to be here, what time you come in, and what time you leave, right? And Brie, it sounds like you just kind of made it so your mind's like, hey, this is my schedule, Monday to Friday. And on Saturday, this is what I'm doing. And your brain just kind of rocks with it. So you're almost viewing it like a W-2 position. Would that be in that regard? Would that be fair to say?
Yes. And that's what I've been told. We should treat it like a W-2.
Exactly, because guys, it's like the second we don't, and we think like, oh, like Bree said, she's not going out to lunch, she's not on the phone with her family for 3 hours talking about what's new. She's working through those hours, and just to reiterate, guys, 8 to 1, right? Let's talk about actual working hours. That's 5 hours, okay? Now, Bree's taking like a little bit of a break, if you will, which is definitely appropriate. Either she's following up, I can imagine she's going for a walk, she's with her dogs, whatever it might be, spending some time with her boyfriend, getting some food, right? All that good stuff from 1 to 3. She's back on the phones from 3 to 7. 3 to 7, it's another 4 hours. If you think about it that way, guys, it's like it doesn't sound that bad to make a lot of money every month. It actually sounds great on an hourly wage basis. So I love how you're committed to that. And this might be like a question that doesn't necessarily, it might not resonate, but I feel like it will. What makes you show up every single day and actually put the work in and not just sit there, right? Bree, I could get on Zoom, me and you right now, right? We could get on Zoom, we could just hang out there for like 4 hours and we could just like sit here. Like, what makes you actually push and go even when you don't want to push and go?
So, for one, I've been through some hard times in my life. I've been close to homeless. I didn't mean to get into this, but I'm a recovering alcoholic and I know how it feels to be at multiple rock bottoms. And I never want that for myself. I understand that, like, in a commission-based job, like, you have to show up. It's up to you. Like, if you're not putting in the work, like, you're not going to get paid. And I mean, I just want to have like a complete continuous flow of like sales and deposits. I don't ever want to worry about my bills. I have goals. I don't have a mortgage right now. I tried to buy a house last year and it's just with the market, it was like the crappiest house and it was like I would be house broke, like I have so many goals and I have to show up for myself because no one else is going to, and I mean, that's important to me. Like I can look in the future and know that like this isn't it right here. This isn't it in this rental. Like I have bigger things to accomplish. So
That's right.
I have to do it for me.
That's right. And I think when you have to do it for you, right, it makes it that much stronger and powerful. And I always say this, I hate that we people, when I say we guys, I'm saying people, like that all went through different things in our life, but we have to remember we go through those things and we're going to come out of there stronger or we're going to come out of there with the victim mentality. And I applaud you, Brie, because you didn't, doesn't sound like you have a victim mentality whatsoever. Even just thank you so much for being vulnerable. I'm super proud of you. But at the same time, you're like, I have things I want to do for me. Like I have things I want to get done. And guys, at one point in this business, like Bree, today it might be like, I have things I want to get done. And then next year, when you get those things done, it might be, I want to be able to do this for this person or this for this charitable, or I want to do this because your why is going to change, if you will, right? But at the same time, guys, I love hearing that people go through things and get through them because it just shows you how strong human beings truly are. So kudos to you, Bree, seriously. But guys, that's why it's like when I talk to some of you guys, I'm like, and I'll say something like, you never really been through a whole lot. Like that's what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I've been through some crazy stuff too. Me and Bree are going to talk about it one day. But guys, my point is that if you've hit your rock bottom, whatever that looks like, don't ever let this look messier. And if you do, it's on you. Like straight up, it's on you. And like I love you, but it's on you. You're doing it. No one can torture you more than yourself, right? So Bree's like, I ain't gonna torture me. I got goals to hit. I got things to do. So like, let's do this thing. Now coming in, a lot of new agents and myself at times, I just like to like rush on the phone or I have my moment. I'm just rushing. I'm just like, Larry's not even going to buy anyways. Like what's Larry doing on the phone? And I'll just completely talk over Larry. I think a lot of us do that, especially learning at times. We'll just kind of be so honed in on the script that we're not listening, to what the client has to say when you're doing your financial inventory and you're kind of establishing, your rapport and who you are with that client, talk to us a little bit about why you're listening to what your client has to say.
Well, I mean, communication is a two-way street, and I think that you can miss a lot of pertinent details. And yeah, not everything is pertinent, and sometimes I let them talk a little too much, and they'll tell me like, cut him off, take control of the situation because I can go take that a little too far. But I do think it's important, like you want to be empathetic with your clients. You want them to know you actually care. You're not just trying to get commission. I mean, I feel like they can sense those things. And I just try to read people and it also helps me later on in the conversation because, I can refer back to, their daughter or, something that they've been through and use that so they know that, it's not just it's not transactional, I'm actually like taking the time to get to know them.
Absolutely. And that's huge because it's like sometimes if we talk over our client, like I'll be like, Bree, when you sent the request in, was your concern like most veterans just wanting to make sure final expenses wouldn't fall burden or looking to leave a little bit extra behind? And you're like, yeah, right? Because sometimes people will say, yeah. I'm like, okay, let me re-ask the question, right? But in that moment, right? If I don't listen to what you mean, but when you say yeah, if I'm not like, okay, and what do you mean by that? And you're like, oh, well, I want to make sure if I pass away, I have four grandkids and I want, okay, now we have the why. We're starting to already pull it out, right, at a surface level. So now later in the conversation, you're able to actually solve the problem of, I want to leave my four grandchildren something. Here's how we're going to do it, right? So, but if you don't listen to that, you walk right over it. Guys, sometimes the most important piece of the actual appointment is what the client has to say to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're telling you why they need the insurance. And I always say this in sales trainings. It's like they got to sell you on why they need the insurance before you sell them on the insurance. And Brie, I think you do an amazing job of that, of building the asking the uncomfortable who, what, when, where, why questions and making sure that you actually know where the client's coming from so you can offer a proper solution. So you do an amazing job with that. Um, Another thing, as a brand new agent, tonality is huge, right? If I call you Bree and I'm like, hey Bree, like you're probably like, what the heck, right? Versus if I call you and I'm like, Bree, talk to us a little bit about tonality. Why do you think tonality is important? And how has this kind of helped you as you've gotten over your first 60, 90 days?
Yeah. So at first I didn't even know what it was. And people kept saying your tonality is great. And I was like, what does that mean? So now I hear it a lot with like newer agents and I mean I'm not perfect, trust me. I get out of whack all the time, but if you're like overly excited or you're really nervous like I am now, you kind of make you're going to make that client nervous. So you have to have good tone so you can build that rapport with the client.
Because they can
Now
feel it, right?
they can feel it. Yeah. And then I just try to kind of again, like kind of feel them out. Like if I can, joke around a little, I'll do that. If I need to stay like, pretty firm, then I try to do that. I'm not so good on the firm part, but yeah, it is important because they feed off your energy.
Absolutely right. If you sound nervous, you sound like you're a scammer, they're going to think you're nervous and that you're a scammer. If you don't sound confident in what you're saying, they're not going to think you're confident and that therefore they're not confident. They don't want to buy from you. So I love that essentially, guys, people can feel your tonality. Think about a time that somebody you know has called you in a bad situation. How did their tonality sound then versus when they just call you on a regular day? It's the same thing that transact like the transaction, if you will, of exchange of voice. It's like, guys, you got to make sure you're tracking with your client. Just like Bree said, if it's somebody she can kind of joke around, be funny with, cool, we'll make a couple jokes and we'll kind of get through the app. But if it's somebody more like stern and, prim and proper, okay, sir, next step is this, right? We're just kind of rocking with what the client's doing. So matching and mirroring is huge. Now, a lot of new agents will come in, Bree, and I know you've gotten is it fair to say you've gotten like a lot of messages, people asking you like, hey, like what are you doing? Or like, like what's the secret sauce? Is that fair?
A little bit, yes.
A little bit? All right, good. Well, I'm like, guys, don't blow her up, okay? Like literally don't. But with that being said, guys, Bree, what would your answer be to that? If someone's like, hey, what's the secret sauce, Bree? Like, what is it?
Well, I mean, it's everything they tell everyone, you have to stick to the schedule, you have to stick to a script, objections, unmute. Like I'm literally just reading a script and getting help when I need it, asking questions when I need it, having a mental breakdown when I need to. I mean, it's
Yeah.
been like an emotional roller coaster. But it's just from everything I've read and watched, like that's just kind of how the business is. You have to get like I know I went just like a week there with no sales and I just like dial and it sucks. Like nobody's gonna lie, like it sucks dialing 7 days straight or 6 days straight, and no one, wants to buy, but it's just part of the deal. And like I'm reading this John Wetmore book and he like calculates it and breaks it down like from dials to like sales, and like per dial he's making like $17 an hour like every time he dials. And I'm like it really it comes full circle every time. I knew that I was gonna get out of that hump, but I just didn't know when. And it was like staying mentally strong through all that. That was tough. But yeah, I mean, it's part of the deal. You have to dial. You have to, as much as it sucks, you have to get the dials in. Um,
Absolutely.
oh,
You got to get it done, right? Like, and that's it.
you-
It's like kind of Brie, what I hear you saying is like, hey, I came in and I did what I was asked to do. It wasn't always comfortable, but like did it. I'm still doing it, and I'm a student of the business, and I just show up each and every day. Is that fair?
yeah,
Even when it's tough. And I don't love that you said this, but I love that you brought it up because guys, it's the reality of it. Whether you're killing it in the business or you're not killing it in the business, there's going to be a mindset piece to it, right? Like there's always going to be that mindset that it's like, hey, we need a little bit of an adjustment or we need to chill out for a second. Whatever that means to you, find your zen, for lack of a better term. If Rami was he would be like, don't call it zen. That's weird, right? But find what makes you comfortable or allows you to like readjust yourself and, and get back to a place where you have a mindset of, I'm just calling people that sent in a request for help, right? When you can reframe it that way, it's going to help you out. But also, like Bree said, she's like, I went 7 days with no sales. Like Bree's talking like she went 7 months no sales, right? She's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But then yesterday, right, Bree, you wrote like 5 grand, right?
yes.
So it's always about the comeback. And guys, I always say this, and some of y'all like, she's so weird. Like, that's cool. I like to be weird. Keep it weird. But my point is that I believe there's like insurance gods. Okay. There's somebody up there and they're looking over the actual activity that we do. They're looking over the actual work that we do. How many hours do we actually put in? And sometimes we're going to feel like we beat the numbers. And other weeks we're going to feel like the numbers beat us. As an example, last week the numbers beat Bree. But like this week, she's beating the numbers because they're evening themselves out. It's a test of what are we actually doing, guys, right? So, Brie, I love how you shared that because it also shows like, hey, like we all go times with no sales. It's okay to go 1 day no sales. It's okay to go even 1 week no sales as long as you're working. But it's not okay to go 1 month no sales. Okay. So I love that you brought that up. That's huge. And
And then
then
Dennis, one day it was like a Sunday. I just wanted to say this because he's on here.
yeah,
And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, it's Sunday. Should I like call these leads that are coming in? And he was like, well, yeah. He's like, you're definitely, he's like, if you don't call them, you're definitely not going to get a sale. He's like, you might get a sale if you do, but you're definitely not if you don't. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, like that makes sense. So, okay.
I like that. And it's true. It's like, what do you have to lose, right? Like, what do we have to lose, guys? Like, all we have to lose is Frank's going to be like, no, I don't want the insurance and hang up. Like, that's the worst scenario, right? It's like, that's it.
Yeah.
They don't even know you. Don't take it personally. Um, and how important is it to have like a good lead flow, right? In the beginning, lead flow can be scary. Buying leads can be scary. Will you tell us a little bit about how your lead flow looked at the beginning, how you felt about it? Were you nervous? And kind of how it's evolved to today?
Yeah, so I just started out on age leads, so I would pay like 175 for a pack of 20 or 30, I don't know, less than $400. I knew going into it like that was just part of the deal. Like the people aren't going to knock on your door and ask you, to sell them insurance. So I knew that everyone was upfront with me about how it kind of works at Family First, and it wasn't scary to me, especially how I'm assuming that everyone starts out like this on age leads, a couple $100 and then you sell a policy and make a grand, like it's a no-brainer. So as soon as I would get the money back, I would just buy more leads. And then as I like got used to it, got okay, I would, not, I shouldn't say gambled. I bought a pack of age leads or a new leads just to see how that would go, and then it worked for me. So as soon as I got that paid for that, I bought some more. And that's kind of where I'm at now. Usually I do about, was it, I think I get 40 new leads a month. I get them off the CRM center, and I do a pack of age leads as well, just to keep busy and keep the flow down.
I like
And
that.
I'll tell you, like I've never lost. I'm sure there will be a time that comes that, I buy a pack of age or a pack of new, and I may not get one sale, but so far, like that hasn't been the case. So,
Right. As long as you work your leads, like have you had time and just so everyone's rocking with you, Bree, you buy 40 new veteran leads every week and an age vet pack every week. Is that right?
yes.
Perfect. So guys, yeah, that's on a weekly basis, just so y'all are rocking with us. And with those, Bree, have you ever had a time maybe you called through the leads one time and you hadn't gotten a sale,
Yes.
right?
Well, I
But
mean, one time, yes.
yeah, but then when
Yeah.
you always call back through all of your leads, would that be fair to say? Kind of newest
Oh,
going back to oldest?
oh yeah, multiple times until they answer.
And that's right. Until they answer, give you like a hard no, or they buy a policy, right? And
Yes.
has there been a time you can think of, being here for give or take 90 days that, your first couple of lead packs that you actually dialed back on them and actually saw some success?
Yes. I sold a policy about a month ago that was from my very first pack of age leads.
I feel like I remember you
So,
saying that. Like it's like
yeah.
they're not aged guys until you talk to them, right?
Yes.
So I love that. Like, guys, work your leads. Like, don't just work the 40 new and in the new age you have coming in. You got to work all your leads together. And just like Bree's saying, she sold a policy off of, and that's how you know she was working, right? Just so y'all are rocking with like Bree, I'm not hating on you for this because we all go through it. Everybody on here, you're all if you haven't had a week of no sales, you will have one. I'm not wishing it on you. It is what it is. My point is Bree's saying, hey, last week I didn't have the best sales week, okay? And that's all good. But what else she's saying is she went all the way back to her first lead pack. What does that tell me? What does that tell her? She's working. Like she's actually working. If you're not getting that far back and you're less than 90 days in, it's confusing. I love you, but it's confusing. So make sure you're dialing back because just like Bree said, the lead isn't dead until she talks to the person and they give her a really firm no, or they give her, let's do this insurance thing and let's get it rolling. So I love that. Um, and Anything else you'd want to share, just kind of while you're on that, you'd want to share with whether that's a new agent, just the whole team, in terms of something that's maybe helped you or something that hurt you in the beginning that you did or didn't do?
Um, hmm, that's a hard one. Um, I don't know. I think just like seriously rely on your upline because like you know their upline has they're busy too. They make obviously their numbers show how many sales they make, but there has never been a time when I needed someone and they're like, nope, like you're on your own, you know. I mean, seriously, like if you want help, definitely talk to your upline. Unmute. That's it's just the basic things that everyone says, but it's so true. And like just keep dialing. Like it sucks to dial 700 dials a day and not have a presentation, but it really is a numbers game. Like it really works itself out. And I can tell you that by my last 2 days because it's like I didn't miss all those days. I've had one, two, three, I had four, I have five, I wrote 5 policies in the last day. So all those 7 days that I didn't have a sale, I mean, 5 of those are covered right now if I had just done one sale a day. So I mean,
Exactly.
it's a mental battle for me for sure some days. Marisa, Rami, you guys know that. But you know, I just seriously lean on others, like lean on your upline and just keep trucking as hard as it is sometimes. It's just it's all a game. Like if you're working, you're gonna see results. I'm not great. I promise you that. Like I if it's not an easy sale, I struggle. Like if it's not just straight to the point and I'm getting objections, you know, I struggle. You know, Rami came in the room with me today, the breakout room, and he helped me help this guy read his policies that he had, like knew what page they were on, you know, and the guy thanked us, you know, or thanked me because he didn't know about Rami, but you know, they're so grateful because they don't know what they have, you know, and you're kind of yeah, you're kind of teaching them, so to say.
Exactly. And that's huge because if guys, if you're not leaning on your upline or somebody that, is doing better than you, or it's like there's so many, if you're on this team, guys, there's a ton of people willing to help you. You just have to utilize your resources, just like Bree's saying. And I love Bree how you're like, I'm not perfect, basically, is what I'm hearing you say. Like I still have some stuff I gotta work on, right? Same, by the
Oh,
way,
for
Bree,
sure.
same. But it's like we're all getting better every single day. So, guys, make sure you're getting better with people who are doing better than you because it's really easy to fall into a trap in this business and be like, this is so hard, this is terrible. And, me and Heather are on the phone, and now me and Heather are talking about how this is so hard and terrible. And it's like, are we ever going to make, like, no, you can't be having those conversations because it's really going to mess your mindset up. It's not going to tweak and it's not going to help you evolve. Um, and Bree, just to kind of wrap the goals, the call up. Actually, I do want to ask you one question, and then well, two questions, and we're gonna wrap up. When you're dialing out, do you just hand dial your phone?
I do, yes. So for the most part, I dial hand dial all my new leads. I try to keep hand dialing them. Well, I hand dial them all, sorry. But then, like in the afternoon, if I'm calling old leads, I'll switch to like my ringing numbers and just hand dial on there. I am gonna allegedly start using ringy as the power dialer, but I'm just kind of sorting through that right now just because where I'm at now, I want to still hit all those old leads and I feel like it would save me a lot of time calling 3 of those that usually don't answer, you know, at a time. I'll get through them faster. So
For
that
sure.
is yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But I just use my phone, my hands.
And guys, like that's it. And like for all of you that have automation on, I'm not mad. I love the automation. It's awesome. It's 2025. That's great. Happy for you. But really kind of what like my point is, and Brie, to be honest, I didn't know if you did or didn't use a power dialer. I wasn't sure about when I asked that
Yeah.
question. Now, dialing with like this is the most powerful dial you're going to make is off of your own phone number. And the reason for that, guys, is it's not going to come up as spam. It's going to come up as your phone. It's your phone number. Um, and being able to get the reps in that way, how much of a confidence boost is it to be like, I've made 800 dials on my own phone. And then you go to a power dial and you're like, oh, this is cute. Like this is so cute. I'm not hating on the power dialer, but what I'm trying to say is some of us need to be the power dialer before we're getting a power dialer because some of y'all ain't even using the power dialer. Y'all are downloading it and being like, oh, I have to like if you have a power dialer, use it. If you don't have one, don't use it. But don't stick in the middle, guys, because there's just too much of that happening right now within the team. That's why I'm bringing it up. So, guys, manually dial, it still does work, believe it or not. You can add phone numbers in using the burner app, unlisted. There's a multitude of different ways, but whatever's working for you, let it work. If you're using a power dialer and you're complaining about the amount of dials you're making, I love you, but that's just really confusing to me. Um, you want to track those things. If Bree can do it, I can do it. So many people can do it. We've all proven it off of just this phone. Guys, you can do it off of just this phone or a power dialer as well, but stick to the CRM that you are using, please. Okay. Like don't run to this one, then run to that one. You're only going to confuse yourself and literally paralysis by analysis is the biggest reason why agents don't move in this business. They overthink the small things that don't actually matter. Okay. Now, last thing, just to kind of wrap up, Bree. First of all, this call's been amazing because it really just gets down to the nuts and bolts of, hey, what do I have to do to be successful in the beginning? And it's exactly what you did. But just to wrap the call up, Bree, what are some of your goals, whether it's business, personal, or both, kind of being in mid 2025 to wrap the call up?
So I'm really hoping to consistently write 30 grand a month, starting, we'll say next month. And I don't know if that number will get bigger because at the beginning I didn't even know what numbers were. I think my March when I issue paid 25,000, Rami texting was like, your issued paid was like 25,000 and I was like, "Oh, is that good?" Like I didn't pay attention. Like I just did the work. And so like that's cool for me. Like I definitely want to be like hit Hall of Fame at some point. I'm not going to bet on this year. Like I said, I want to buy a house. I want to just continue to work on like my mental health, and that's like one of the things that I seriously love the most about Family First Life because you're not just a number, you're not just an agent. Like everything, they touch every area, and I'm just so grateful, like seriously, to be on this team. I'm like, I tell you guys all the time, I'm like, I hit the jackpot and getting on this team, and truly I'm grateful. But yeah, I just want to keep going, keep learning, get more confident. I do struggle a lot with confidence on the phone, and in my life. So that's a huge goal for me. Just and then continue to do what I'm doing. Don't get complacent and work on my mental toughness for sure because it tests you in this business for sure. But I'm here for it. And no
Absolutely. I know
second,
you
I
are.
think I think it was Heather that said like when I first started, she said in a meeting that like she's like, don't have a plan B, and like I'm all in. Like this is I love it.
This
Running
call
any
was
business
awesome.
is not gonna be, a walk in the park. So I'm just here for it.
That's right. If it was, everyone would be walking in the park, right? Right. So
Yes.
I love that. And I love how you said you were just doing the work. You weren't necessarily watching the scoreboard, right? The scoreboard came about because you were just doing the work. And Bree, it's like that's what it seems like you do. You just do the work. You don't worry about other people, which I think is really important. Guys, focus on yourself. Don't worry about what the person next to you is doing, or the person in another state, or the person in your home state. It doesn't matter. I promise you, it doesn't matter. And also just knowing like, hey, I want to do well here. I have goals I want to hit here. I'm gonna do 30K a month plus. I'm not betting against you, Brie. I'm giggling because I'm like, bro, you're gonna be able to do that like in your sleep next month. So like it's perfect. So and you're just gonna run it up from there, no doubt. But guys, when you just do the work and you don't watch the scoreboard and you don't worry about the nitpicky things like what power dialer am I gonna use? What number am I gonna call off of? And you just go to work like Brie did, like that's how you're gonna see the results that she's getting. And that's how Bree, no doubt you're going to hit the goals that you want out of this because that's the biggest thing is what do we want out of being here? Because it's not fun, like Bree said, to call the phone 700 times a day, but there's also way worse things that we could be doing, making a way lower income, to say the least. So Bree, I love your goals and I love how they're well-rounded. They're not just like, I want to make this much money. It's like, okay, for what? Right? Like you're like, hey, I want to develop myself. Like I want to buy a home. I eventually want to hit Hall of Fame. I'm going to get my numbers up there, but I'm going to focus on making sure that I'm getting better as I'm getting better at the job. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
I love that, guys. And when we grow, our business grows by default. So, Bree, this call was absolutely amazing. I don't just say that to say it. It's one I'm definitely going to listen back to. And, guys, if you're a new agent on here or you're in a rut and you're on this call, definitely listen back and implement some of the small things that Bree gave us because there were so many takeaways. And it's always just that small nugget that we need to make the day better moving forward. So, Bree, I really appreciate you being on with me today.
Thank you for having me on. This has been
Uh,
really cool.